Next up in the Sun, Earth, Moon cycle, we're going to talk a little bit about the moon. Um, you can probably guess, seeing as we talked yesterday about what holds the Earth in place around the Sun, you can probably guess what holds the moon around the Earth. It's gravity. So Earth is giving off gravity, the moon is giving off gravity, and it's holding it in its orbit around the Earth. Now you see, since the moon is in motion, it would naturally continue straight on. But because its gravity pulls on the Earth and the Earth pulls on the moon, it continues in a mostly round orbit. Now, just like Earth's, it can change its distance from the Earth, like the Earth can change the distance from the Moon. But it's a similar pattern. So it orbits around the Earth. Now, the Moon is about 1/4 of the size of the Earth. It is dry. It has no atmosphere. Um, but if you look at the topography, so this is the side, the near side. This is the far side. You can see it has a just a very active history of being struck by all kinds of things: asteroids, comets, meteors, all these things just hammering into its surface for millions of years and leaving all of these craters. Um, if you take the time to actually study this topographic map, you can see that there are mountains and ridges and valleys and all different types of geographical features on the moon. Technically, you wouldn't say geographical because geo, as we know, means Earth. Maybe we could say lunographical. But either way, you see it's got the ridges and valleys and things like that. It actually even has some pretty cool features. Um, that are lava plains. So there's evidence all over the surface of the moon that there were active volcanoes millions of years ago, and they left these like lava flow patterns and what they call lava plains, as well as trenches that look like lava had once flowed through them. Now, you might wonder how in the world we got this moon. Uh, there are a lot of different theories. Um, some scientists think that the Earth just kind of captured a passing planetoid or asteroid or something like that, and into its gravitational pull, and started an orbit around us. But the most common has to do with an impact. They call it the Big Splash. And so a planetoid, dwarf planet, something roughly the size of Mars, they believe crashed into, collided with the Earth uh, not long after it was formed. So it would still be semi molten, still not like the Earth we know today. And so this collision would have thrown all kinds of debris into the air, the air into the space around Earth, which would have started its own orbit. And as it orbited over time, it formed into the moon. And so this gravity most likely would be caused by the very dense core, which they believe to be iron, would have pulled all of this debris around it, compacting it into the moon that we know today. Now, one of the most interesting features about the moon has to do with its motions, has to do with its movements through space. So, like Earth, it moves in different ways. It rotates on its axis. It revolves around the Earth. But we've got to mention some very specific things about that rotation, about that revolution. So the moon rotates one time for every revolution around the Earth. So, what does that mean for us? So, say you're standing here in stage one where this arrow is. You're standing on the face of the moon, and as it revolves around the sun, this same or the sun, the Earth, the same face, same place where you're standing, stays facing the Earth. So it slowly rotates. Looking this way, it would be counterclockwise. So it's slowly rotating counterclockwise to keep the same face towards the Earth. That's why every time we look at it, it may be turned slightly different, but we're getting the same face. And so that's why they refer to it back here as the near side. That's the side that faces us. And the far side, the side that we don't see. Now, sometimes they incorrectly refer to it as the light side and dark side of the moon. That's not actually correct, which we'll see when we get into the phases of the moon. But I want you to understand why it keeps the same face towards us. It has to do with that one rotation for every revolution. So it stays facing the Earth, same direction, because of this very slow rotation that matches its revolution. Now, what this does for us, we can't see this far side. We have pictures of it. Again, that's where this came from. Satellites have orbited it. Men have walked on the moon, and we've been all over it. So we've seen it, but it is not visible to us from Earth. So we have to have, remember, remote sensing. That's not something we can observe on our own. So we had to send spacecraft up to orbit it and take pictures. And so now we know what it looks like. Let's talk a little bit about the phases of the moon, because this is something that throws a lot of people off. And if you study history, ancient people thought that the moon actually changed in its size and in its shape, and you've probably seen the little drawings of like a crescent moon, and they thought that it might have been like a hollow bowl and turned that way, but we know it is actually a sphere. Well, it's slightly off from a perfect sphere because of rotation and its revolution as well, but this difference in appearance of the moon is actually caused by its relationship to both the Earth and the Sun. So let's talk a little bit about the phases of the moon. We're very familiar with the concept of the full moon. So pay attention here. Down at the bottom is the sunlight. So the sun's down here. The light is coming up. See it reflecting onto the Earth and reflecting onto the moon. Now, notice that I said reflecting onto the moon. The moon does not give off its own light. People think, oh no, it has its own kind of phosphorescent glow. No, it doesn't. It is reflecting the sun's light. That's the only reason we can see it, is it's reflecting the sun's light. Now, the most that we can see is during a full moon. So you see the sun's light here. We would be on this dark side at night, and this is the part we would see. We would see it getting the full force of the sun's light and it illuminating this half, and that's what we could see. Now, the moon completes its cycle of phases every 29.5 days. So that means as it revolves around the Earth, we see a different phase. We see it's the same face, but it's lit differently. So as the month progresses, you see what's called a waning gibbous. Waning is one of your vocabulary words, waning and waxing. So pull these up here. Waxing is a phase of the moon during which more of the lit part of the moon is visible each night, and waning means a phase of the moon during which less of the lit part of the moon is visible each night. So let's go back to this. Let's look here. So ideally they start at the new moon on this. So when it's nighttime and there's a new moon, we don't see it. So it's not there to us. So it's because it is on the opposite side of us. We're looking towards the dark. It's over here on the light side, and the sun is actually shining on the far side of the moon. Now, as the cycle continues, you see a waxing crescent. Waxing meaning the light part is growing. So we see this little sliver right here, this crescent, and then we see the first quarter. So we're seeing this part right here. So it's off to this side, you can see it. Then we get a waxing gibbous. That's where it's kind of like the opposite of the crescent. So the crescent would fit onto the gibbous there. But so you're seeing this, and then eventually to the full moon. Now, as the month or the 29.5-day cycle continues, then we get to that waning gibbous. Waning meaning it's getting smaller. So this is kind of moving this way. You get to this, what they call the last quarter. So you're only seeing here and here. And then you get to that waning crescent. So you're only seeing this small part here, and then back to the new moon. Now, make sure you pay attention to these vocabulary words. We will use these terms waning and waxing because we'll look at more parts of the solar system, and they reflect different parts, different amounts of the sun's light as well. So these are these should be familiar terms to you. Waning meaning it's getting smaller, waxing meaning it's growing. But you should be familiar. You don't have to know every little part of it, but you should know these phases: the new moon, full moon, quarter, crescent, gibbous, and be able to tell me what order they go in.